Mark Perlmutter was there. He's a Jewish, I think I mentioned Mark, he's a Jewish American hand surgeon from North Carolina. He and I met there. He's become a good friend of mine since then. And I remember there was a moment when we had just met a patient. He was actually, he's an orthopedic surgical nurse from Indonesian hospital, but he was a patient. He had been taken by the Israelis, tortured, abused, and now he was recovering from that ordeal in the hospital. And Mark kind of, he was really upset. He was really, really upset by this because the guy's a healthcare worker. And this was he wasn't the first healthcare worker we had met who had been taken and abused, but the rest of them were physically recovered from that. So that didn't strike you so harshly. This guy was very, very sick. And from the injuries he had sustained, his right eye had to be enucleated. His leg was infected. He was in very bad shape. And Mark was really angry that night while we were eating the little dinner that we had. He was really upset, and he was kind of on the verge of tears. And he said, "How could they do this to a nurse? How could they do this to a nurse?" And it was me and the physical therapist that was on the trip with us. We were standing there, like I had my hand on one of his shoulders, and she had her hand on his other shoulder, and we kind of looked at each other. And we said, "Should we tell him? Should we tell him?" And then I said, "Mark, I get what you're saying. Like, why would they do this? It is terrible, but you've seen that they shoot children on purpose here."
Yeah.
And I don't say this because it actually makes me kind of sad to think about it because it was such an awful moment. But like that was like the moment when his whole worldview just went away of what he had been taught about what this place is and what, it was kind of hard to see. Honestly. And that was the moment at which he realized I might die here. If they want to kill me, they're probably going to kill me too. And you could see it. I mean, it's normal to be scared for your own life. I mean, I say I ignore it, but that's, I try to, but it still occurs to me that I could be killed at any moment. And that's not terribly pleasant, especially, there was more than one time that a bomb actually knocked me out of bed, even though they were like, quite a ways away. You wake up in a completely dark room on the floor. And like the first thing that's going through your head is the ceiling right above me? And I just don't know.